Hey everybody, how are you doing on this fine Sunday evening? I am Peter Brown, and thanks so much for joining us tonight. It looks like tonight I might be flying solo. We're hoping Ed can jump into the call tonight, but he had a flat tire today, so he's dealing with that right now. But he may try to kind of jump in at some point into the conversation. But that means tonight I need your help. I need everybody's help in the chat room, and forgive me if I am burping a little bit here. I was just wolfing down dinner real quick, as I prepare the dinner. Chipotle was delivered here to the house just like literally seconds before going on air. So I was wolfing it down real fast, preparing for the show. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy you're here as well. Before we get too far, I'll explain why I'm wearing the Fort Lauderdale Strikers shirt. If you're an old Strikers fan, you probably know why. But before we get to that, let's give a big thank you to our sponsor, and that is Caneswear. So if you want to get anything for Inter Miami, this is the place to go. They are great staff, located centrally right there in Davie, off of 595 in University, real close. If you're coming to the game on Wednesday night, leave a little bit early, and you can swing by, grab a new cap or something like that. That's the cap that I'm currently wearing. That's where I got it from at Caneswear. Mention FMTV and you'll get 10% off. So thanks so much to Caneswear. All right, let's come back. All right, and let's say hello to some of you guys. Not a ton of people in the chat yet. If you're watching, say hello in the chat, and we'll become active. But first person I see in here was Bruno, and we'll touch it. We'll come back to some of your comments in just a second. We got Richard Greenberg up there in Toronto, and we're going to talk a little bit about Toronto. And we got Jose Velasquez. How are you doing? And, of course, as always, we've got Judge Dredd the Law. Chris Arjun is here. Great photographer. Happy Sunday to you. As always, we have one world, one goal. Welcome, and thanks for joining. And we'll hit on him in a minute. We got Eric Thomas. And looks like we've got Daniel Miranda here as well. Oh, this is Daniel from Pele in Disney Springs. Hey, there you go. Yeah, I met Daniel at Disney Springs. I was all decked out in my Inter Miami gear. And nice to meet you, Daniel. Thanks for joining. Jet Pancake's in here as well. All right, and Ted, he knows why I'm wearing the Striker shirt. This is not Gerd Mueller's number, but Gerd Mueller died today, and he was a 75, I think. Yeah, 75 years old. He had been dealing with some Alzheimer's. I'm not sure what the cause of death is yet. I'm not sure if they've even announced that, but the significance of Gerd Mueller, other than besides being a Bayern Munich legend. He played 3 years for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. He came to the Strikers in 1979. They were doing designated players back then as well. I mean, players finishing off their careers. He played 3 years here in Fort Lauderdale, playing alongside Ray Hudson and Nene Kubias and all those great guys. And he scored, if this number's correct, going off the Wikipedia, 38 goals in his 3 years. Not bad. So thoughts and prayers to Gerd Mueller and his family. But I don't know how many of you remember those old Striker days. I'm gonna go on a limb and say a lot of you guys are probably a little bit younger and may not remember what's those great days in going to see the Strikers in the 70s. I mean, I was going to see them, that at 79, I would have been 10 years old. I was going to see, that's when I first started to like soccer. I started learning about it right around 10 years old. So, I'd go see and watch him score a bunch of goals. And, I didn't have season tickets back then, but we went to a few games a season. So it was a lot of fun. So another thought out here. Okay, so Eric did not hear me, I guess. Good evening to the room. Good evening, downtown Peter Brown. Where the hell is the uncle? The uncle is fixing a flat tire. So there's that. And there's Eric is also mentioning another RIP to our Haitian brothers and sisters. Yeah, it's not so well. What was it? It was a earthquake down there, and apparently, right? Ted's agreeing the situation in Haiti is terrible. Anytime there's anything going on in Haiti, it's always bad. I mean, they've got terrible infrastructure. It's just a poor nation. So, yeah. And we got such a great Haitian community here in South Florida. So, thoughts and prayers to them. I'm sure a lot of the local charities and things like that will probably get into action and start doing what they can to help down there. That's something that I know my church is always real big on. They send people to Haiti all the time, so I'm sure they will they'll look into seeing what they can do to help down there. So that's tragic, but we don't want to just focus on the negative today, even though negative we lost, right? So we lost, and if it wasn't for Leardom, and I know there's a few of you guys here in this chat that love Leardom. I know one guy in particular that's always asking for Leardom, and he had a bad night. Leardom had a bad night. If it wasn't for Leardom, we might have gotten out of New York with a point. It would have probably been 0-0. The team overall, I think, played well. So let's get into we're going to start off right off the bat. And if you actually want to help tonight, because when I'm the hosting alone, I need all the help I can get. And if you want to join in and give me a call, 786-474-4435 is the phone number, and you can leave a voicemail. And we've got a few voicemails already, so that is awesome. So we're gonna jump right into the voicemails, because these voicemails may cover a lot of the things that we want to talk about. So let's get into it. And here is the first voicemail.
This is Ted from Coconut Gables Creek, which is located in West Palm, Miami, Broward County. And I just want to say I'm not that upset that they lost. I don't feel as angry today as I usually do when they lose, because of the past 4 games. And really it's one player that lost the game for them. It's Leardom. If there was someone else playing right back yesterday, it very well could have been a completely different story, or center back or whatever he was playing. Obviously he was not marking his man when they gave up the first goal, and then he got the penalty for the second goal. Otherwise, it very well could have ended 0-0. I guess if I had some minor complaints, I still don't see Lewis Morgan doing much of anything. I mean, he's working hard. It's hard to blame him. He's got talent. He's got skill on the ball. But he's just not good at crossing this season. I don't know. I say this every week. He's not really giving you much of anything right now, other than some good effort. And Gonzalo Higuain is our best player, obviously, as far as putting the ball in the back of the net. He's got, I think, 8 goals, and the rest of the team combined has like 5 or something like that. But he's got to stop with those chips. He thinks he can chip the keeper, and every single time he does not score. He puts it over the bar. Like, I don't know what he's doing, but he's not the reason they lost last night either. I don't really understand the tactics every time by Phil Neville. It's hard to question his tactics in recent games because they have been playing better. But I would like to see Federico in there maybe a little bit earlier. But I know they're playing lots of games and they're trying to keep certain players fresh. But I'm actually pretty confident that they're going to beat Chicago on Wednesday, though. So I'm not too upset, and I don't know. I'm probably going to be going to a game the next couple weeks. So I'm back on the bandwagon. I never really got off, but I just don't feel as upset and angry as I usually do. Let's just see if they can get enough points together to sneak into that final playoff spot. And when we got 2 games in hand over a lot of the other teams, so as long as they start, continue to play like they've been playing in the last month, last night aside, I think they'll be fine. All right, thanks, Peter. Thanks, Ed. You guys do a great job as always. And Orlando City sucks. Bye.
He sounds so enthusiastic when he says that we're doing a great job. It's like, you guys do a great job, whatever. All right. But yeah, good points there. I agree. If Leardom, wasn't in the game, we're likely there at 0-0. And I also agree that I think Morgan had a better game this week, but he can't cross. His crosses are always, too short. They're too low. He had at least one that was far post in the last game that I was like, okay, at least he got it over the first man in the group, and got it to the far post. But he's not crossing at all. Well, I mean, I thought he went at players better this game, but that's about it. And Ted's adding to that thought, Morgan might be a threat, but he doesn't assist and doesn't score. Chris Arjun does not agree. He says, disagree with Lewis Morgan not doing anything. Comment, Morgan was a threat all the time. Yeah, I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think he was definitely had more of a threat in the New York game. He is definitely not what he was last year. Some of that could be, the fact that the league has caught on to him and they're studying him a little bit more. They know what he's going to do. That could be part of it. But I think his crosses have been bad. So he definitely needs to work on his crosses. But, he's definitely a threat as well. So. All right. And just to... here we go. Bruni 2589 was commenting early on that we have to win convincingly these next 2 home games. The squad has to score at least 5 goals between both matches. That's a lot of goals. I don't know. I don't see what they need is what Ted is commenting on Higuain being our best goal scorer and he's chipping a lot. Yeah, maybe you should drill that ball in the back of the net instead of always trying to chip. Chipping isn't working for him. Although it was close, and it would have been pretty had that chip gone in on Saturday in New York. But we need the rest of the team to step up. Pizarro, has been a huge letdown this year. He did nothing, I think, on in New York. He's got to get some shots off. I mean, he's giving the ball away all the time, but get in there and take some shots. Morgan, he shoots, he shoots some more. You got to get those defenders. We got to get some better crosses in there so we can get defenders on the end of those goals. I know that is one of the things that Phil Neville has been talking a lot about, saying he's working hard with his defenders. That he expects a lot of goals from the defenders from the remainder of the season. Something they're working hard on. But they're not scoring, and we need those defenders to get their head on the end of the balls. But at the same time, they need better service in order to do that. So, going back to Richard Greenberg's comment earlier on. He says, "My TFC is finished. You have an easy win next week." So, when is that game? That game is on the 21st, and the 21st is a Saturday. So Saturday we're playing Toronto, and here's the thing: when I look at Toronto, and we can actually do this. Here's Toronto's last few games, and let's get rid of that. Toronto's last few games, you can see, they tied New York City 2-2. So what does that say? They were able to score 2 goals against New York, and I saw that game. That was the game where New York was definitely they came up and they scored 2 quick goals in the first half, and Toronto came back. They let them back in, I guess you could say, or Toronto fought their way back in. But they tied New York where we lost to New York. So they lost to New England just in their last game yesterday. On Saturday, only 2-1. So yeah, they tied to Nashville. So I don't think it's a walk in the park by any stretch of the imagination for. Come on. There we go. Back to that. So I wouldn't go so far to say it's an easy win, that we have an easy win next week. All right, let's go back down to some of the comments. One World, One Goal is saying, yes, Peter, I thought we need 5 goals, but in 2 games, who can score? Suit up Beckham, Neville, and Chris Henderson then. Just kidding. TFC always gives up quick goals, then they try to come back, which is the same thing for Inter Miami. We always give up a goal. We go down first like all the time. I don't know what the stat is on that, like what's the percentage of how often we're down and then have to claw our way back up. But the difference is earlier in the season when we went down, there was no fight. There was 0 fight. Now we see a fight. We see what Neville's working on, and I think it's starting to click a little bit. That, I don't know if Phil Neville's the long-term solution for this team, but it does seem like some things are starting to click. They're at least fighting to stay in the game, to come back all the way through to the end, where that wasn't happening earlier in the season. So I'm happy to see that. All right, let's go to another voicemail here.
Hey guys, we should do this show like after we actually win, because we didn't get to have the excitement. Although you do a very funny roving reporter. Uncle Ed was great, and Peter. But anyway, well, Peter, of course, is always great. Let me clarify that. And all the fans, what's up? Well, the game started out pretty good, but then it went downhill. I think they need to look up the word markup in the soccer dictionary, because on that first goal, they have a number 10 who can actually play number 10. Not that we're bitter or anything. And that guy's awesome. Tiny little guy, amazing player. And, we had 2-3 guys not marked up at all. And, of course, the guy could break free easy and score. Then that handball thing, oh, my gosh, the less said about that, the better. And then the guys were just deflated after that. I think he needed to sub right at the half, like a Breck Shea, your MLS workman in there. But the issue, you really have to give Neville some credit, Coach Neville, because, you have $7 million players. You have players that have played in World Cups. You have one that even won a World Cup that have a quality of skill. And then, like, near the beginning of the game, I saw somebody put up a beautiful cross, and the guy was racing down the right-hand side, and, he was a good 6-7 feet from the sideline, and he couldn't even trap the ball. It went off his foot. It went out of bounds, and I'm like, he couldn't even keep it in bounds and make the pass. So, they really need to practice, like, in game conditions, which you would never do that in England because the quality of play of a pro player is higher, and even, especially South America. 6-7-year-old kids, they're taught by their father how to trap the ball, how to make the pass, and how to mark up. So it's just, he's got like opposite extreme skill levels that he needs to really teach them. And, you see that when you go to a pickup game here in Miami, you have 13-year-old kids hopping in the game, and they play as well as the adults because their father taught them from a young age. So, it's a difficulty, but let's hope they bounce back and he finds the right lineups. And definitely a few of those guys, you got to sub them out like at halftime if they're looking that bad. Anyway, talk to you guys soon, and great show. Love ya. Bye.
All right. Thanks a lot, One World. She was saying that they were that bad. I don't know if you guys agree with me or maybe I was just being too kind in my viewing. I didn't think we were that bad. I don't think any of it was that bad. Sure, we could have made some subs earlier, but I don't think anything was that bad other than Leardom in that game. And everybody has a bad game. I'm not screaming at him yet. I mean, if he does it again, then I'm definitely gonna say get rid of the guy or something, or bench him or whatever. But speaking of benching him, here's one. Acts 1:11 says, "What about benching Morgan? Not saying he's terrible, just too predictable, making him not effective. Alonso made him shine, but he seems to have lost that extra stuff." Oof. Benching what is one of our best attacking players, I wouldn't go that far. I don't think he's the problem. Can he do better? Sure. Better crossing? Absolutely. But he's charging at players. He's not what he was, but I don't think benching him is the answer. It's not like Pizarro. Pizarro's a disaster. Benching him, it made sense. Matuidi, it made sense to bench him, and it seemed to have worked a little bit. I got a thought. How many times, and I haven't looked this up, but it just as we're talking, this just popped into my head. How many times this season have all three DPs finished a game? Like all three DPs got subbed out. Your most expensive players, all three of them got subbed out against New York. I mean, that says something, that they're all coming out. None of them were good enough. And Higuaín may be our best goal scorer, but I agree with Eric here, where he says, "Sad thing about it is one man, an old Henry Gonzalo Higuaín, has more than half of Inter Miami goals. We ain't gonna win anything like that." So anybody that's like the Gonzalo cheerleader, while he's looking better and he is our best, but that's not good enough. The rest of the team needs to do their part as well, and he needs to do more, quite frankly. But I won't get on his case. I mean, he is looking better. That goal that he tried to chip, I mean, he was chasing after that ball. That was a nice long ball by LGP, and LGP was playing quite a few long balls in the first half. I'm not a big fan of that kind of play, but seemed to be working a little bit. But normally if you send a long ball to Gonzalo, he's going to just look at that and maybe take a few steps and just ain't going to happen. I mean, the fat man can't make that run. But he did. And he got on the end of it. It didn't quite work out, but he was putting in a solid run. So, all right. Axe 11 is saying, didn't say he was terrible, but his runs are too confusing for Gonzalo. So I get what you're saying there. I think, what's interesting to me, at least what I think I noticed, is that I think Morgan has a good connection with Pizarro. They'll feed off each other a little bit. Now, of course, if he feeds off Pizarro, Pizarro's just going to give the ball away. But he does not have that connection with Gonzalo. There were a couple times where he's charging with the ball, Morgan, and Gonzalo's open, and he doesn't give it to him. He just keeps going. So there doesn't seem to be any real connection with Morgan and Higuaín. And that definitely could be part of the problem. Richard Greenberg is asking, question, does Toronto-born Jay Chapman play much for Miami? Yeah, he's got a good amount of playing time, and he's not a player I was overly excited about. I'm still not overly excited about when he gets on the field, but he's been pretty decent. He'll come in the second half generally. He started a couple of games here and there, but yeah, he's getting a decent amount of playing time. Quite often when they want to take out Matuidi or something, they'll put in they'll put in Chapman, or they they want or if they're going to take out Uoa, they'll put in Chapman quite often in that position. So he's getting some good playing time. All right, we have another voicemail, so we're going to go to that. And thanks everybody for all these voicemails. This is great. And let me put up this ticker again, just in case you guys do want to leave another voicemail. It's 786-474-4435. This is fun. I really enjoy when Ed is here, but you guys know when Ed is here, it's really a lot of it's me and Ed talking, or mostly me talking, and but I have someone to bounce it off of. And today, you guys are the people I'm bouncing it off. So this has been a little more back and forth with you and me, and I really enjoy it. Not to say I don't enjoy when Ed's here. I do enjoy that as well. But this is just a little bit different, and I kind of dig it. I like it. So thanks everybody for being very active in the chat and in the voicemail. So here we go. Next voicemail.
Good evening, everybody. This is your favorite uncle, Uncle Ned. I'm back. So let me start off by saying, fam. Damn. Hey, man, shout out to my guys, the notorious downtown Peter Brown, and my boy, Darrell's favorite uncle, Uncle Ed, I gave him a little piece of United States, just one little tiny slither of Miami, Doral, but everything else is all mine. But anyway, just wanted to shout out to everybody out there, to the room and everything like that. I was there at the game last night. These guys, I'm not going to kill them, man. I'm not here to kill them. Just wanted to give them some words of encouragement. We didn't think that they were going to go on like a 19-game winning streak. And last night they looked listless, you know what I'm saying? And when you don't score, you're not going to win anyway, I like Leardam, but he effed up twice, man. He's got to own up to that. And let's just hope that the next game on Wednesday night that he plays sharper and that he gets his head out of his rear end and that he contributes. He's ready to go and contributes to the team. But overall, they've actually been playing pretty good. It seems like they're starting to get on message and starting to play with some chemistry. So that's a good thing to see. And I'm just hoping that Neville gets these guys prepared. That's number one. He's got to get these guys prepared and ready to go. I think we're playing against Toronto. Toronto's not that great of a team, and we're playing them at home. But then again, our record at home is not that good either. So, we're on a 4-game unbeaten streak. Let's see if we can extend it and go on another winning streak. Let's make it 5. Let's make it 6 because the schedule coming up is going to be a whole lot easier for us. We got a game against Orlando, I think, next week. But, I think we can either meet at a tie or at least beat these guys as well if we continue to play with pace and vigor like we were doing before. But anyway, that's it. No double calls, just this one call for this time. And anyway, I hope you guys are staying safe. Shout out to the people in Haiti. We love you. We got your back. And sac passe, les boulets. We got you, man. And Haitians stand strong. And to my guys, Uncle Ed and Peter Brown, I will be down there in about 3 weeks, man. Love you guys. Love the room. Peace.
All right, look forward to see you when you're down. We'll have a few beers and catch a game. Bad game for Leardam. But something Uncle Ned said is that we didn't expect them to just all of a sudden be a great team. It's something that I think Phil has been doing a good job. If you watch his post-game press conferences, and if you don't watch any of them, you should go and follow Miami Total Football. Our friend Franco Panizzo, go follow him. He posts every one of the press conferences on his YouTube channel. That's how I watch them. So go ahead and watch them. But Neville has done a really good job as far as just tempering everybody's expectations and letting everybody know that, baby steps. These are all baby steps. We haven't done anything yet. And so, we weren't expecting them to go for the rest of the season, winning every game. And going up to New York against a good team, it wasn't an embarrassing loss by any stretch of the imagination. But now, as we titled this video, it's a tough week. It's a must-win week. Next up is Chicago on Wednesday. And if we go and do a similar thing here that we did with Toronto and look at what they have done recently, let's get rid of this. Chicago is they're above us, but not by much in the standings. And they've tied against Philly, tied against New York. Just a couple weeks ago, they tied against New York, and they beat the Red Bulls, and they're currently playing against Columbus. Just before we went live, I was watching that game, and it was 0-0. I think they've got a guy named O4, I think is his name. He looks pretty good. He's threatening a lot in that game against Columbus, and Columbus is a good team. So this is not going to be an easy stretch for Inter Miami. So we've got Wednesday, and when we're playing 2 games in 1 week, that's a lot to ask from these players. So Wednesday night we've got Chicago here at 7:30. I'll be at that game, and then Saturday we're playing Toronto. So 2 home games. We've got to get 6 points out of these. Really, if we plan to climb our way up, we've got to get 6 points here. And because it's not going to get any easier. The very next week, August 27th, we are headed up to Orlando. Orlando is good. We all know that. So, and we recently played them and we drew Orlando 1-1. So we can get a point out of Orlando. If we could do 1-1, why can't we beat them? But then luckily we've got Cincinnati. Cincinnati's nothing great either, but we are traveling. We have not necessarily a great traveling team, so we're traveling in September up to Cincinnati. So if we just look at the next 4 games, they're definitely winnable games. Orlando, obviously the toughest game. That could be a loss, but it could we could definitely take some momentum and beat that game. But it is not going to be easy. Chicago's not going to be an easy team to break down. And as bad as Toronto may be, they've proven that they can beat the teams that we've lost to. So there's that. All right. It's going to be a great job. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. And, that's a thing this season. I don't know how you guys feel. I know there can be some negativity out there, and sometimes we may get a little negative here on this show, but it's all out of just wanting the team to do better. And I'm just having a blast this season. I'm having so much fun going to the games. Haven't missed one yet. Actually, was at the last game, and One World, One Goal had mentioned, having a show after a win. That'd be nice, right? We actually and mentioned the kind of the live show that we did after the game, which was a bit of a disaster, because I don't know if you guys know, the cell reception outside that stadium for me is horrible. And I know you could easily say, well, switch your provider. No, it's not that easy, right? So in the struggles of trying to go live, it wasn't working. Eventually, I was there with my brother. My brother came down from North Carolina. My brother is a 17 and a half year Marine, and he came down here from North Carolina, went to a game with me, and I handed him my microphone, and he dropped it. So I'm not saying it's his fault that the microphone wasn't working, but it might be. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to experiment with that microphone. I do have another setup I can use for the future. So it's like an external mic that goes up on top of the camera, and we may try that. The same mic I used to use for when I did the construction videos. Ted is asking, what service do I have? I have T-Mobile. And my brother has Verizon. Verizon was working better, but even still, he only had like 2 bars, and I was down to like a 1 bar situation. It just was not cooperating with me. And I used to have Verizon, but we switched to T-Mobile because it was cheaper. And T-Mobile has been great for me everywhere except for that stadium. You know, around all that metal and all the electronics in the stadium, I'm sure it doesn't help. And it looks like Ted has T-Mobile as well. You know, so yeah, I don't have a problem with T-Mobile other than there. So it's definitely gonna. I don't know how many more live shows we'll be doing from the stadium. We might pre-record them, and then I'll come home real quick and put it up that night. Maybe that may be something we do. Just do some pre-recorded stuff because it just wasn't cooperating. Well, we may try it again, but you know, even that other time that we did it, it was buffering a lot, and then if you remember, if you guys watched the tailgate that I did with Beckham, it was just horrible. And you know, and there I'm a decent amount. You know, you're on the training facility. You're a decent amount away from the stadium, and heck, even the post game show that we did last, we're a block away from the stadium, but it still was causing issues. So. Ted is saying the parking lot has Drive Pink has Wi-Fi. Yeah, and I'm on the Wi-Fi when I'm in the stadium, but no, it doesn't really reach out. One World One Goal says apparently she washed her bathrobe, and I guess she washed off the luck. Well, so it's your fault. Simple as that. Eric is saying the volume on last weekend's show was pretty bad. If you guys could fix the volume issue, that would be a big help. I know. I just told you, my brother dropped my microphone. I don't know if it's broken or what, but you know, I have other microphone setups I can use. So we might try it again. But I'll tell you, I'm getting frustrated when I'm trying to go live because I'm like, it's just spinning. I'm not getting it. So it's not the easiest thing to do with my internet, so my Wi-Fi. Chris Menendez is also saying try connecting the stadium Wi-Fi. I've tried it out. Once I'm out to the parking lot, it's not as good. Now, I mean, I could do it inside the stadium, but it would be, you know, people are leaving quickly. It's not the same thing, and they want you out. So, was there any more chats? Baldwin, no, we did not really talk about this. Baldwin saying he missed the earlier part of the show. Did we discuss how New York City was bullying Figal all night? Embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, that stiff arm on Figal looked pretty bad. You know, he got a little football stiff arm there. And, you know, Figal did not also have a great night, but he didn't give up a goal like Figal did. Like Leardom did. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to give Figal too much trouble. You know, the goals weren't on him. One World is saying, as far as my signal, it could be the airport. Yep, it very well could be. She had problems with that back in the Fusion days, or maybe she was just drunk. So, all right, we have one more voicemail. And let's go with that. Oh, we've got a return caller.
This is Ted again from Pavoni Creek. The other thing I wanted to talk about, this is kind of unrelated to Inter Miami, but it's Fort Lauderdale CF. So they're playing a team tonight. My friend is actually a fan of the team in South Carolina that they're playing, the Triumph or something like that.
Greenville. And
they're actually playing Fort Lauderdale CF tonight, but I can't watch the game because it's only on ESPN Plus, which is a good deal, by the way. Everyone should get ESPN Plus, but I'm not going to get it. Not yet.
$5.
It's like $6 a month, and you get tons of MLS games, tons of whatever leagues Fort Lauderdale CF is in, USL or whatever it's called. And you get Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga. You get tons and tons of soccer for like $6 a month. So no complaining about that. I just don't feel like spending $6 today. I don't know why. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know why I don't just get it. But they should put the games on the app. they should put Fort Lauderdale, at least the home games or something, because they're not even open to the fans yet.
Right.
So I just feel like they should put the games on some kind of free service or Twitter or something, so we can watch Fort Lauderdale CF and see some of the future players of Inter Miami. Okay, thanks, bye.
Agree 100%, but first and foremost, are you even a soccer fan or a football fan if you don't have ESPN Plus these days? Because ESPN Plus, has grabbed up all the hot properties, right? I was watching the Barcelona today. I didn't see the whole game. I kind of fell asleep, but watched part of the Barcelona first game of the season. The whole question was, how are they going to look without Messi? They looked just fine because they won 4-2 against, what was it, Real Sociedad or something like that. So yeah, spend the $6. You spend more on an arepa, probably. A good quality arepa, you're probably going to get, it's going to cost you, $6-7. So go and get yourself some ESPN Plus. It's great. So, and you know what? I wasn't even aware that Fort Lauderdale is playing tonight, so I'm gonna have to go watch that. I'm not sure what. Ted, do you know what time? Put it in the chat. Do you know what time they are playing tonight? If it's going on now, or if it's going on the next hour or so. But yeah, I do have a pet peeve about them not allowing fans in the stands for that. I would love to go to those games. I would, I guess part of the probably the biggest reason they're not doing it. Okay, so Eric is saying the game is at 7:30, so it's already started. So yeah, it's fine. I can watch the replay or catch the second half. Probably the biggest reason they're probably not opening up the stadium is they don't think many people are going to show, and if they open the stadium, they have to hire a certain number of staff, and it's guaranteed it's a losing proposition. They are going to lose money that night for opening the stands. Even if they don't open all of the concessions, even if they only open a portion of the concessions, they're going to lose money. What they could do and lose less money is do what Strikers did at the end. Near the end of the Brazilian-owned Fort Lauderdale Strikers fiasco, they would only open up one side of the stadium. So it would be, for example, only opening up the east stands. And so they close off the rest of the stands. Therefore, they only have to have, a quarter of the security, for example. And so they could potentially do that. But yes, on the app, it's a no-brainer. Why are they not on the app? I agree with you. Maybe it's some deal that with USL. I'm not sure. But, I'm not sure about that. But it looks like, hang on a second, guys. I did tell you that, Uncle Ed was going to try to join join the conversation, and it looks like he has. And let me see if I can bring up, add him to the right. Ed, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's a little bit choppy, but I got you. First off, how's the tire?
Tire's better. Now I'm waiting to pick up the wife. So I had some minutes, and I was like, I got to drop in and save Peter because you're probably messing up the show without me.
I don't know. I mean, I think it was a different kind of show, Ed. I don't think I've run it into the ground just yet. We are in that last 15 minutes of the show where I start to run out of things to talk about, and that's when I run it into the ground. So you came in at just the right time.
Perfect timing then. So I imagine you talked about how terrible Inter Miami was in New York. They do. I think it looks like they do have a little fight in them. Hoping that on Wednesday. And like you said in the title, we've got a couple of games that are winnable. I think there's a chance we can win them. Crossing my fingers. Are you going to make it to the Wednesday game, Peter?
Of course. One thing Eric Thomas says, will you look at that? He looks better blurry. America's favorite uncle, Baldwin says.
that's gonna cost him a beer when he gets down here.
All right. Yeah, I think he'll pay up.
Eric.
I think he's good for
Mhm.
it. What did you? What were you saying? What were you
No, I was
asking me?
saying that we've got a couple of games that we definitely could win,
Yeah,
and I was asking you if you're gonna be there on Wednesday. You've been to every game.
I
Looks
will.
like I'm gonna miss that game because I got to work.
Yeah, yeah. You're
But
the part-time fan that I've been calling you.
no, it's just unfortunately there's other priorities sometimes. But I'm sending the kids, so
Oh,
that's a
okay.
good thing.
All right. So I'll get to
They
hang out
like
with the
going.
kids.
Yeah, so you're hanging out with the kids. They liked going to the last game. They'll probably hang
Nice.
out with you for a little bit, but I think they liked going where the supporters are at.
They're young. They want to still hang out with those crazy people, whereas you and me might want to sit down and enjoy our beer and not wear the beer.
That's it. And that happened when I went last game. I hung out with them a little bit, mostly because the sun was hitting us in the face, and we were with the grandkid, and she was
Yeah.
too hot, so she actually enjoyed being in the supporter section.
Mm.
Everybody was having a good time. But yes, I got a little beer bath.
I'm not a fan of the beer bath, but yes, I will definitely be at the game on Wednesday. I have not missed a game this year, and this weekend I was thinking I might miss the game because I had family in town. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, but eventually I convinced my brother to come, and he had a blast. I mean, he just kept saying over and over how much fun this was. I mean, he loved hanging out with Southern Legion pre-game, post-game. And that's something to, if any Southern Legion members are listening, I could say, big thank you to you guys for making my family feel very, very welcome. He doesn't know any of you guys, and you guys all made him feel very, very welcome. So thank you for that. And
it also helps that he's the brother of one of the founders, one of the oldest people in the group. So
yeah, but most of the people in the group now are young. They don't know who the hell I am.
That's true. A lot of them don't know who we are.
So but my brother used to be a recruiter, so for the Marines, so he knows how to be social. He knows how to turn on the charm and hang out and stuff like that. But hey, Richard Greenberg is giving us an update here, saying Chicago just scored a goal, so they're up 1-0, and they're looking pretty good. So yeah, it's a tough game, Ed. We look at the schedule and we think, all right, Chicago, Toronto, those are easy wins. They're not easy wins because both of those teams, Chicago and Toronto, both had better results against New York City than we did.
That's not good.
So this is not a slam dunk that we're just going to win at home because hey, the last 4 out of the last 5 games we haven't lost. We've won some, we've tied some, but it's not.
I'd love to say that we've got a better chance because we're playing at home, but
Our home record's nothing.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have a good home record. I mean, I can now say just a few shows ago, I had said I had never witnessed them winning. I have now witnessed them win twice, and so that's great. We're moving in the right direction. Baby steps, right direction. Still a lot of things, but Ted saying, hang up on Ed.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why he's being so rude, but
it's evil. He's an evil man, that Ted Stokowski.
Yeah. And there's a beer conversation going on. I do love Peroni or Red Stripe, depending on the situation, says One World, One Goal. The beer conversation has popped up. I'm not sure why. I'd have to kind of backtrack a little bit. But which one do you like better there, Peroni or Red Stripe?
I'm more Peroni. It's more of a Pilsner, I think. So I kind of like those a little better.
I like both, but I think Peroni's maybe a little more crisp. It's I do like now apparently Judge is saying basically screw beer. He likes some Smirnoff.
Look at that. Well, some people would say that that's kind of like a girly drink, though. Peter, that's right up your alley.
Smirnoff? No, if I'm gonna do a girly drink, Ed, I'll stick to my seltzers.
Okay, there you go.
If you want to make fun of me, let's stick to my seltzers. I mean, heck, today is not a seltzer per se because there's no alcohol in it, but it is a little girly-ish looking, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So, but it's hey man, I like these sparkling waters with or without alcohol.
Hey,
what can I tell you?
But in these crazy times, anything's acceptable, man. So you go, Peter.
And it's a little more trimming. Eric Thomas says red stripe is the truth.
Well, right, I think last time he filled up your cooler, I think there was some red stripe in there.
There definitely was some red stripe. I drank it. Eric saying, yeah, real men drink Corona seltzer beer.
Oh.
I know he's mocking me, but I have had Corona seltzer as well.
Wow.
One World is coming at me now as well. Peter does like the girly man beers. So when it comes to beer, I'll drink just like anybody else. But you know, I want to enjoy my adult beverage, and I also like to stay trim. These seltzers are a little bit more trimming, so I don't want to have the big old beer gut. So
a lot of people at the tailgate, they were mentioning, "Wow, Peter's like, you know, is he okay?"
I get that a lot. I get that a lot.
But next show, I'm going to show some pictures of when we first started the channel and compare them to Peter Brown today, and it's like a whole different person.
Yeah. I get that. I get that a lot. All right, so now Eric's coming at me more. So all right, bring it on. But all fun. Ed, you know, Ted is offering his help. Why didn't you call him? He would have helped you with the flat tire.
Oh wow! I never expect Ted to help me in that way. He's always been just a soccer friend, but he doesn't come off as a person that would, you know, go out of his way and drive to Durrell and help me fix my tire.
From Coconut Gables? From Coconut Gables?
Wherever he's coming from, because you know, I don't know. He moves so much; it's hard to keep up with him.
So Ed, when you get a flat tire, are you the one that's breaking out the jack and doing all that stuff, or are you calling AAA?
I'm calling AAA, man, and Uncle Ed does not do. Yeah, that's you know, I do enough hard work, you know. So yeah, you got the AAA, and it's a lot easier. Unfortunately, they take a long time.
They do.
So that's why you know, I wasn't able to get back home on time to do the video like we normally do, but you know, it got fixed. You know, they patched it up and everything. It was a darn toot and nail, but it was right in the middle, so it didn't really affect the tire like to destroy it where I'd have to buy a new tire. So I'm good.
All right, I think you offended Ted. And just a soccer friend, I helped that ungrateful jerk with things unrelated to soccer and vice versa.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that too.
I like messing with Ted.
I like what Baldwin says is I went to a Miami soccer show and a beer discussion broke out. Look, I've always kind of envisioned this show, and a lot of times we do stay on topic, but I've always envisioned this show to be loosely on soccer. I love going off on the tangents. We do keep it pretty focused, but I love going off on the tangents. So if you guys take it there in the chat, I'm going with you. Oh yeah.
And by the way, I love the Strikers jersey, man.
Yeah, and you know why I'm wearing it, right? Gerd Mueller passed away today.
He passed away, yeah. Sad to hear that he passed away. And it's kind of funny because I saw Nene Cubillas put up a couple pictures with him, George Best. They're, you know, those three players were you know, probably the best, you know, some of the best players in the world at the time.
Yeah.
So it's you know, it's kind of sad, and I put a comment on his page. I think it was on his Facebook page saying, "Wow, it's, you know, it's kind of sad. Hopefully, you live a long life," because he was also he's considered the best player in Peruvian history.
Mm-hmm.
So and he was, you know, he was a playmaker. He was the guy that would definitely feed you know, Gerd Mueller and George Best, all the goals that they scored. So, but imagine what an incredible team the Strikers had back then, man. That's that's New York Cosmos style
Yeah.
type of that would be nowadays it would be Paris Saint Germain type of team, a Barcelona, a Real Madrid type of team, because I mean that's the quality of players they had back then, the best in the world. And I
It,
think eventually Major League Soccer will get there. This time they're doing it slower because and that's why the league has survived, because of the system that they're using now. They don't want us to go
out of
the
business.
NASL's way. They don't want us to and I think it's probably the right way to go. But I think eventually we're going to get to the point where we'll be able to bring the Gerd Muellers back and the George Bests and the Nene Kubillas.
But remember, Gerd Mueller was not a spring chicken when he came over here. It was the last stop at the end of his career. So it's really not that much different than, say, the Higuains and David Beckham's, that have come here. So it's not all that much different. Players that are a little bit older, and you could see from this picture that we've gotten up, he's no spring chicken here. So he was coming at the end of his career. It's not that much different than what's going on today. Just the money is different, but there were no rules. You could have as many of these kind of players as you want back then. And I went to those games, Ed. I remember watching them play in the old original Lockhart, and it was definitely a lot of fun. Back then, as a kid, it was pre-internet and all that stuff. You weren't necessarily looking up all these players. I didn't know who all these players were. I just knew they were my players. They were the strikers.
Right.
I mean, I knew who they were. I know who Nene Kubillas was, and Ray Hudson, and Arnie. I forgot his last name. The goalkeeper. I knew all these guys, but not because of what they did before they got to the strikers, just because they were the strikers. And I was, when Gerd Mueller came over, I was 10 years old. So, I was just a kid going to those games, but definitely it was a lot of fun, back then.
It was
just
an awesome time.
Trivia question. Who wore this number? This was not Gerd's number. Who wore the number 3?
Number 3, Ray was number 4, right?
Right.
3 was George Best?
Yes. It was George Best.
He was the best.
and Richard Greenberg says, I would have loved to seen George Best play.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure if I saw him. I was also young in the NASL days. I was living in California watching the LA Aztecs, but the one game I do remember is when they played the Cosmos, because Pelé was there, and my dad kept on telling me he's the best player in the world, the best player in the world, and I was just like, wow, he's the best player in the world. That's why I remember more than anything. But I don't remember exactly how old I was. Must have been 7 or something like that, 8, maybe 9.
I'll be honest, I don't remember if I saw Pele play. I don't remember. I mean,
you probably did.
I may have, but
game.
As a kid, I don't remember. What I do remember, I don't remember any of the opponents except for the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah,
because
they've got that ugly color.
Even back then, there was so much hatred between the two clubs, and it was a game that Tampa fans would travel to. So you'd see,
right.
and as a kid, I did not understand that. I did not understand why we saw people wearing Tampa Bay shirts in our stadium. I remember asking my dad, like, why are they here? Why are they allowed to be here? This is our stadium,
Wearing those ugly colors.
I didn't get it. I didn't get the fact that you got traveling fans and stuff like that back then. I mean, I was just a little kid. What do I know? It was
this is my house.
Exactly.
My team should be wearing. Like nowadays, is we got the black and pink, and we don't want any other color. Darn tootin'.
Yeah, but now we expect to see traveling fans, and we're constantly seeing. They've got a little corner up there, and we know some friends like Anu Weissman from Atlanta has traveled down there. I mean, quite often see some traveling fans, some in greater numbers than others, but and it's always been civil, at least so far. It's been civil. And it has not always been civil with the Rowdies. Even with the newer version of the Strikers, I remember going to James Stadium. No, what was it? What's the name of this? Al Lang Stadium.
Raymond?
Al Lang Stadium.
Oh, Alan.
And going there with my family and being a little concerned because there was quite a few jerks at the time. Overall, good people, and we've met some people, some Tampa fans. Some Tampa fans are fans of this show. But it's always been a fun rivalry, and we hope with Inter Miami that we can get some of those rivalries going. If it seems like, but we just got to be a team a little bit longer. There's something there with Orlando. Orlando, when we last played them, they put up, I don't remember what it said, but they put up a banner on the Turnpike.
Yeah.
For the Inter Miami fans, like saying something crappy to the Inter Miami fans on the Turnpike. And
I think it was something there's only one team. Was it that?
Maybe.
Something
I don't remember.
like
I saw a picture of it. I don't remember what it said, but I loved it. I thought that was great. I mean, they went and they hung it off a road, and that was awesome. But
or was it with Florida's purple or something like that? That's ugly color too. That's terrible.
Terrible colors. All right, well, Ed, that pretty much wraps it up. You definitely helped take it down the stretch, and I appreciate you jumping in. That was awesome. But also really, really appreciate everybody in the chat. Today, before you got in, Ed, was a much more of a conversation with the chat. And we had quite a few voicemails as well. So thank you to everybody that's in the chat, and also placing voicemails in. And make sure you give this a like, and please share it. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And
we're gonna look out for. Are we gonna do another live on after the game Saturday?
I mean, we could try. We could try, but we have not had a lot of success. I got I was saying earlier, I don't know if you heard it. I don't know if I said it when you were on or as well. But my brother, when we were going through the troubles of getting live and we used his phone, at one point I handed him the mic and he just dropped it.
I remember.
That might have been what the problem was. And
you got to charge him for that microphone.
And when we're working, doing it, we don't know that the audio is not working. We're just going. We got no clue. We're just going. And it was horrible. But I wish the audio worked, because I think you did a great job. I was just the cameraman really, and you were the interviewer, and I thought it was a lot of fun getting the conversation from all the Nashville fans. So yeah, we could definitely try it one more time, and if it fails, I just say screw it. We just do recorded videos only, but we can give it one more shot.
Let's just do it. We'll try it. Well, guys, keep an eye out for that, and let's hope we get a win on Wednesday. We'll have a lot to talk about, that's for sure.
Yeah, two games to talk about, and then also after that game, we've got Orlando, so we'll be able to talk about two hopeful wins, and then what's coming up the very next week, which will be a tough game up on the road in Orlando. So thanks so much everybody for watching. As we said, please like, share, and subscribe. And also, go to Caneswear. Go to caneswear.com if you can't make it to the store. And mention Futbol Miami TV. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. And we will see you next week.